Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Afrinish Amanat, and in this lecture we are going to discuss steps involved in acute inflammation. I have put two multiple choice questions. You have to listen to the lecture and you have to answer to these questions so that you can be marked present in this lecture. You have to write answers with your roll numbers. Acute inflammation. It comprises of dilation of small vessels, increased permeability, and emigration of leukocytes. These three steps have been uh, put into two categories: vascular changes and cellular events. Vascular changes involve changes in the vascular caliber and flow and increased vascular permeability, while the cellular events involve emigration of leukocytes from the microcirculation to the site of injury. uh, Reaction of blood vessel in acute inflammation, it consists of changes in the flow of blood and permeability of vessels, and both are designed to maximize the movement of plasma proteins and leukocytes out of the circulation to the site of injury. This is the main purpose of this whole process of inflammation. You're already familiar with the Starling forces. One is hydrostatic pressure and the other is colloid osmotic pressure. Whenever there is an imbalance between these two forces, either there is increased hydrostatic pressure or decreased colloid osmotic pressure, the result is fluid leakage from the vessel. Initially, the fluid is transudate, which is low in protein content. With the passage of time, this transudate can be converted into exudate, which is high in protein content and contains many cells, even the cell debris. The process of the escape of fluid, proteins, and blood cells from the vascular system into interstitial tissue or body cavities is known as exudation. And this fluid is known as exudate. It is extravascular fluid that has high protein concentration and contains cellular debris. Transudate is a fluid with low protein content, little or no cellular material, and it has low specific gravity. Basically, it is ultrafiltrate of blood plasma that is produced as a result of imbalance between osmotic and hydrostatic pressure. This table shows you the difference between transudate and exudate. You can get a short essay question on this. Transudate is non-inflammatory edema. It is clear to pale yellow fluid. It has no tendency to coagulate, and its glucose content is same as the plasma. Its specific gravity is low and its pH is more than 7.23. While the exudate is also known as inflammatory edema, it is cloudy yellow or even contains blood. It readily coagulates due to high content of fibrinogen. Glucose content is low, its specific gravity is high, and it contains many cells. Edema is excess of fluid in the interstitial tissue or serous cavities, while pus is basically dead and dying neutrophils, collection of dead and dying neutrophils. The first vascular change which occurs in response to injury is transient vasoconstriction, and it is followed by vasodilation. This vasodilation is induced by histamine, and it first involves the arterioles and then opens up new capillary beds. The result of increased blood flow is erythema, heat and redness at the site of inflammation. Vasodilation is followed by increased permeability of the microvasculature and outpouring of exudate in the extravascular tissue. There is loss of fluid as well as there is concentration of the red cells in the small blood vessels, and this results in increased viscosity of blood, and this is known as stasis of blood flow. And on histological section you will see as vascular congestion, while grossly you will see as localized redness of the involved tissue. When stasis develops, the neutrophils, they start to accumulate along the vascular endothelium. The endothelial cells are activated by mediators which are produced locally at the site of infection. The result is that due to these mediators, the leukocytes, they begin to adhere to endothelium and then migrate through the vascular wall. What is the phenomena which causes vascular leakage? The first one is the retraction of endothelial cells. It is induced by histamine, bradykinin, and leukotrienes. It is also known as immediate transient response. It is rapid and short-lived. It occurs in the post-capillary venules. The other process is endothelial injury. It is caused by burns and some microbial toxins, and it lasts from hours to days. This retraction of endothelial cells is the most common mechanism of vascular leakage. It is also known as immediate transient response. Endothelial injury, it results in endothelial cell necrosis and detachment, and neutrophils that adhere to endothelium can also injure the endothelial cells. Increased transport of fluid and protein is known as transcytosis. It occurs through the endothelial cells, and it can be mediated through certain channels that open in response to vascular endothelial growth factor. The purpose of lymphatics is that they collect the fluid that leaks out of the vessel in the interstitial tissue. The lymphatics collect these fluid and bring them back to the vascular channels. So when there is infection, the lymphatics can also become secondarily inflamed. This process is known as lymphangitis. And when the lymph node becomes involved, it becomes enlarged because of this infective process. This is known as reactive or inflammatory lymphadenitis. The cellular events involve margination, rolling, and adhesion to endothelium. Then the second step is transmigration and chemotaxis. All these processes is mediated by certain cytokines, basically TNF1 and interleukin, TNF and interleukin 1. And these cytokines, they promote expression of selectins and integrins on the endothelium. We will discuss them, the purpose of these two selectins and integrins, in the next slide. Leukocyte adhesion to endothelium is followed by margination. Margination is a process in which the white cells, they assume a peripheral position along endothelial surface. The endothelial cells become activated and they express adhesion molecules. The leukocytes bind to these adhesion molecules, and they become detached and thus begin to tumble on the endothelial surface. This process is known as rolling. The cells finally come to rest at some point where they adhere firmly. Now this figure beautifully explains all the steps. The process of rolling is basically mediated by selectins. Selectins are expressed on the endothelium, and their ligand is silyl Lewis X modified glycoprotein. Then the process of firm adhesion is mediated by the integrins, and ultimately the leukocytes, they transmigrate through the vascular lumen in the extravascular space, and they are attracted due to chemokines which are produced by the inflammatory cells and by certain chemoattractants which are produced by the microbes. And this process of transmigration is mediated by PCAM1. The selectins are involved in rolling, and the integrins are involved in firm adhesion, and PCAM1 is involved in transmigration. The selectins and integrins, they are expressed on leukocytes as well as endothelial cells. The selectins, they mediate the initial weak interaction. This can be asked in multiple choice question, weak interaction between leukocytes and endothelium. And what are these selectins? They are the receptors which are expressed on leukocytes and endothelium. And three members of the family are E-selectin, P-selectin, and L-selectin. E-selectin, E is expressed on endothelial cells. P-selectin, P is expressed on platelets, and L-selectin is expressed on leukocytes, L for leukocytes. Selectins are basically selected lectins, carbohydrates recognizing proteins. The ligands for selectins are sialic acid containing oligosaccharides bound to glycoprotein backbones. Normally the Selectins are expressed at low levels, or they are present in or not at all on unactivated endothelium, and they are upregulated after stimulation by the cytokines. In unactivated endothelium, the P-selectin is found in certain intracellular bodies known as Weibel palette bodies, and when there is exposure to mediator like histamine, the P-selectin is distributed to the cell surface, and this has been shown in this figure. Normally the P-selectin is contained within these Weibel palette bodies, and when there is exposure to histamine or thrombin, it is expressed on the cell surface where it mediates the process of migration of leukocytes. The leukocytes express L-selectin. First they develop low affinity interactions, and then there is firm adhesion and ultimately migration. Firm adhesion of leukocyte to endothelium is mediated by integrin. Integrins are transmembrane glycoproteins that mediate the adhesion of leukocyte to endothelium, and they adhere to the ligands when the leukocytes are activated. What are chemokines? Chemokines are chemoattractant cytokines that are secreted by many cells at the site of inflammation, and when the rolling leukocytes encountered these displayed chemokines, the leukocytes, they become activated. Their integrins, they undergo conformational changes, they cluster together, and thus they are transformed into high affinity form. The ligands for integrins are intercellular adhesion molecule ICAM1, which binds to integrins, leukocyte function associated antigen 1 LFA1, macrophage 1 antigen MAC1, and vascular cell adhesion molecule 1 VCAM1, which binds to integrin very late antigen 4 VLA4. All of this has been summarized in this table. The ligand for selectin is silyl Lewis glycoprotein. The ligand for integrin, these are integrins, and these are the ligands. Then leukocyte migration through the endothelium. It occurs mainly in the postcapillary venules, and it is driven by the chemokines which are produced in extravascular tissue. PCAM1, also known as CD31, is adhesion molecule which is expressed on the leukocytes and endothelial cells, and it mediates the binding events needed for the migration of leukocytes through the endothelium. And how does this process occur? Leukocytes pierce the basement membrane by secreting collagenases, and then they enter the extravascular tissue. The vessel wall is not injured during leukocyte transmigration, and these leukocytes, they move by extending filopodia that pull the back of the cell in the direction of extension. The net result is the leukocytes migrate toward the inflammatory stimulus. The process of filopodia formation has been shown in this figure. In most forms of acute inflammation, the first cell is neutrophil. They predominate in the inflammatory infiltrate during first 6 to 24 hours, and then they are gradually replaced by the macrophages over 24 to 48 hours. Why do the neutrophils present early? The reason is that they are more numerous in the blood than leukocytes. They respond more rapidly, and they may attach more firmly to the adhesion molecules that are rapidly induced on endothelial cells such as P and E selectins. I have already explained the differences between neutrophils and macrophages in the previous lecture. After entering the tissue, the neutrophils are short-lived. They undergo apoptosis and disappear within 48 hours. Macrophages survive for a longer time, and they can become the predominant population during the prolonged inflammatory reaction. There are certain exceptions to this. In Pseudomonas infection, the cellular infiltrate is neutrophils for several days. In viral infection, lymphocytes may be the first cell to arrive, and in allergic reactions, eosinophils may be the prominent cell type. This is asked in multiple choice question. Agents that block TNF are the most successful agents used for chronic inflammatory diseases. And this figure shows you the neutrophils which are involved in early inflammatory reaction, and it is followed by the lymphocytes and macrophages in late inflammatory reaction. Thank you class for listening.